freedom of speech. My name is Werner Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. So, it's for the first time in a while that I'm trying to actually land some new business, and it relates to audio. Go figure. And while I was working on this audio, I started thinking about what it means to have the ability to share audio. In fact, in this application, I reference an episode from This American Life, one of probably my favorite podcasts out there. In fact, I think it's more a radio show that has been converted into or is available as a podcast as well. One of the episodes, I think is episode 667, in the second part, they actually cover and through a nice journalistic piece. And in fact, I'll put a link to this episode in my show notes, where they cover some background of a radio station that was started in Syria. And this activist started this radio station, and he was under pressure from 3 separate groups: the Syrian government, ISIS, and then al-Nusra, to actually not do this. And he started really working against these entities, using audio to serve his community generously, and did comedy sketches, and in fact also empowered female voices. He had females on the radio, to the chagrin of all these entities who didn't want to hear female voices. In the end, however, he ended up being assassinated by one of these groups. No one has really claimed responsibility for this, which is really sad, but his legacy stands. And I started thinking about this and realizing that sometimes we all take these freedoms we have for granted. I mean, how can I sit here in my room here in Warsaw? I might not totally agree with the government here, but I still have the freedom to express that and be in debate with other people. And I think you agree with that. That's something that is obvious. But when I listened to this episode again, I started thinking about, it's one thing to share ideas and to have the freedom of speech or the freedom to say things. But what is really powerful is having people listen to what you're sharing. And for this example from Syria that I had to share, is that it really became powerful when there was an audience listening, an audience reacting to the content that this person created, an audience that found the content useful, an audience that wanted to hear the content in the first place. So you can say what you want. If it falls on deaf ears, it's meaningless. So it's not only freedom of speech, but also the freedom to choose to listen to the things you hear. I hope I'm making sense. I just thought it was interesting to reframe this idea of freedom of speech. Also, it was really heartening to listen to this episode again and listen to the struggles that other people are going through, and also to reflect on the power of audio. I sit here every day trying to put something together, share something with you, perhaps add some music, perhaps add my son in. And in some cases, we haven't met. We don't even know each other. But I get to give you a little glimpse into my life. And you're not here, but your brain has this power to create visuals, create the story that I'm trying to tell. I really think audio is powerful. And even though it gets tough to do these episodes every day, I still believe in the power of audio. I still think back when I was listening to the radio with my mom, and it started there. Stories on radio back in South Africa. And this is just one little piece of trying to make that come true for myself, and hopefully sharing something with you. And trust me, I really mean this when I say it every time. Thank you for listening.